evening, welcome to State of Business on our television with me, Kavish Kaparera. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Manufacturing and service sectors record positive growth in March 2019, says Central Bank Department of Statistics. Sri Lanka's first ever satellite to be launched tomorrow. News in detail. According to the Sri Lanka Purchasing Managers Index released by the Statistics Department of Central Bank on Tuesday, the industrial production in Sri Lanka surged in March 2019, while services sector also recorded a positive growth. The manufacturing sector PMI reached a 46-month high and increased 16.3 index points to 66.9 in March 2019 from 50.6 index points recorded in February 2019, and the increase of PMI in March was largely attributed to the increase in new orders in line with the seasonal demand, especially in manufacture of food and beverages. The production also increased significantly with the intention of achieving expected production levels ahead of the New Year holidays in April. The stock of purchases and employment also increased during the month in line with tight production schedules. Further lengthening of suppliers' delivery time also contributed positively to the overall increase. All sub-indices of PMI manufacturing recorded values above the neutral 50.0 threshold, signaling an overall expansion in manufacturing activities in March 2019 compared to February 2019. The services sector expanded at a higher rate in March 2019, underpinned by accelerated expansion in new businesses, business activity and employment compared to February 2019. Business activity sub-index followed the usual seasonal upturn and reached 3 months high in March 2019, contributing significantly to the expansion in services sector during the period. The expansion in business activities was mainly seen across wholesale and retail trade and transportation subsectors due to the New Year festive season. Service providers' outlook on the 3 months business activity slowed down further in March 2019 as many respondents are taking a wait-and-see approach. Moreover, business activities of accommodation, food and beverage and other personal sub-services subsectors are expected to deteriorate since the upcoming period being the off-peak season for tourism. Sri Lanka's first satellite Ravana-1 will be launched into space at 2:16 a.m. tomorrow, marking Sri Lanka's entry into the global space age. The bird's 3 satellites from Japan, Nepal and Sri Lanka had been taken to the International Space Station as cargo and had been loaded onto the Antares rocket, which will carry the Cygnus cargo spacecraft. The satellites will be launched from the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport at NASA's Wallops Flight Facility on Virginia's East Shore. Designed and built at the Kaishu Institute of Technology in Japan by Sri Lankan research engineers Tharindu Dayaratna and Thulani Chamika from the Arthur C. Clarke Institute, Moratuwa Ravana-1 is designed to accomplish 5 missions. Ravana-1, which measures 11.3 by 10 by 10 centimeters, weighs 1.05 kilograms, is expected to have a lifespan of approximately 1.5 years. The Asian Development Bank, as a leading multilateral development partner of Sri Lanka, plans to commit an average of $800 million annually in sovereign loans to the island nation during 2018-2022 to boost economic growth. ADB's Country Partnership Strategy 2018-2022 for Sri Lanka focuses on building high-quality infrastructure in the transport, energy and urban sectors, the lender said in a member fact sheet. The bank's operations also contribute to the Sri Lankan government's key development goals of economic diversification, job creation, income enhancement and rural economic development. Over the past decade, Sri Lanka has made rapid strides towards its development goals, halving its poverty rate to low single digits and improving human development, according to ADB. While the country now stands close to reaching upper middle income status, it needs to foster more inclusive and sustainable momentum for economic growth, the bank observed. In 2018, Sri Lanka's economic growth remained subdued as it faced challenges stemming from domestic and external factors. Priority investments for economic diversification and productivity enhancement will focus on building infrastructure, especially transport, energy and urban infrastructure, developing an economic corridor and enhancing human capital. Priority investments to promote inclusiveness will include strengthening agriculture infrastructure and commercialization, improving rural connectivity, improving public service delivery and expanding access to finance for MSMEs. As a gesture of goodwill in appreciation of the decades of friendship and cooperation between the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka and the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, the national flag of Sri Lanka was placed in the auditorium of the US SEC as a permanent display on 5th April 2019. The permanent placement of the Sri Lankan national flag was arranged by the chairman of the SEC of Sri Lanka, Ranil Wijesinghe, in collaboration with the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Washington, D.C. The national flag was placed in the auditorium of the US SAC by the chairman of the SAC, Ranil Vijayasinghe, Charge d'Affaires AI of the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Washington, D.C., Sarath Dissanayake, and Minister Commercial of the Embassy, Sumedha Ponnamperuma. US SAC's Assistant Director International Affairs Matthew Grainer and Program Managing International Affairs Adam Anichich also attended the event. Following the placement of the flag, the Sri Lanka delegation had talks with the US SAC where matters of bilateral interest, including enhancing mutually beneficial cooperation between the two commissions, were discussed. Sri Lanka meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions tourism market is expected to reach $285 million by 2025, according to a recently released report. According to an analysis, size, share, growth trends and forecast 2019 to 2025 report released by the Wise Guy Consultants, Sri Lanka is emerging as the fastest growing MICE tourism market. India, Maldives and China are the largest source market for Sri Lanka MICE industry. The report Sri Lanka MICE tourism market current trends, opportunity, growth potential and forecast to 2025 offers the most up-to-date industry data on the actual market situation and future outlook for Sri Lanka MICE tourism market. Stay tuned for more news after this short commercial break. Welcome back. In an exclusive interview with Art Television, chairman of Jetwing Symphony PLC, Hiran Kure, stated that while Sri Lanka can learn from the best practices from foreign countries, Sri Lanka has individuals who can take training to the next level.
We can always learn from the good habits of other people, Sri Lankans or foreign. Wherever it is, if there are good practices, we must be open to learn. But there are great teachers here as well. So we have to again appreciate their teaching talents, training talents, promote them and develop them. We can hire external sources also if the need be, if we don't have enough trainers here. I think the fact that we have enough trainers, we should use our people and only look at outside wherever for additional training if there's a gap.
Speaking further, Hiran Kure stated that Sri Lanka will be a much sought after country if the infrastructure is properly set in place.
Well, Sri Lanka will be a sought after country, sought after by many people. I mean, we have a lovely weather here. Being tropical, it's nice and warm throughout the year. So we will have enough people who want to come and retire here. So that's extra income. People from Japan, from Europe, from Australia. So because of our weather patterns and nice climate to live in, we'll have a lot of people who will retire, and they'll bring their money and live here. So that is one. I mean, obviously tourism will be a beneficiary because we'll have a beautiful island to showcase throughout the country, So many benefits. More people will want to have their investments here, not only in tourism, but in other production areas, software, medical. We can become a medical hub for the world, right? With good roads, clean environment to live in, all that, So the benefits are huge.
The United Kingdom has agreed to introduce a system to Sri Lanka to generate electricity using discarded materials as a solution for the possible power crisis that could take place in the future. This was discussed at a meeting between the Minister of Power, Energy and Business Development Ravi Karunanayake and the British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka James Darius recently. Issuing a press release, the Minister of Power, Energy and Business Development said that the government has decided to heed low-cost, eco-friendly power generation to fulfill the increasing electricity demands, and this new implementation can be regarded as a significant milestone in this regard. Stating that hydropower generation is the main and the most cost-effective way of generating power in Sri Lanka, Minister Karunanayake has said all the potential water resources in the island are currently being used for hydropower generation. He further stated that the government is currently looking for alternative low-cost energy sources. The High Commissioner has commended Sri Lanka for holding an optimal status in electricity supplying among countries in the Asian region. The cost-effective sources of energy generation used by Sri Lanka at present minimize the environmental damage and provide benefits to the customers as well, the High Commissioner added. The Meteorology Department forecasts that showers or thunder showers with severe lightning will occur over most provinces of the island after 2 p.m. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity and localized strong winds during thunder showers. Heavy falls of approximately 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamu's central, southern, Uva and western provinces, and fairly heavy falls of above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in the north central, northwestern and eastern provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur in the sea areas of the coast extending from Mana to Batiklu Putlam, Gaul and Hambantota. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the other sea areas around the island. Winds will be westerly to southwesterly in the sea areas extending from Kankasanture to Mathura via Colombo, and winds will be southeasterly or variable in direction in the other sea areas around the island. Wind speed will be 15 to 25 kilometers per hour in the sea areas around the island. The Saudi Arabian government has agreed to provide a concessional loan of 187.5 million Saudi Riyal for a project to establish a fully equipped faculty of medicine in the Sabaragamu University at Ratnapura. This project is to be launched with the aim of constructing the essentially needed infrastructure facilities and to provide the students with the state-of-the-art teaching and learning facilities that would facilitate in providing the students with world-class medical education by constructing the Faculty of Medicine at the Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka. A delegation headed by Secretary to the Ministry of Finance Dr. R.H.S. Samarathunga with Secretary to the Ministry of Higher Education Priyantha Mayadunna and the Director General of the External Resources Development Priyantha Ratnayaka recently visited Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia from 6th to 9th April 2019 for negotiation in this regard. They had a discussion with the delegation of Saudi Fund for Development headed by Mohammed Al-Dulaylan, Acting Director General Operations Department and Advisor to the SFD Al-Obaid Bandar Abdullah. Stay tuned for stock updates after this short commercial break. Welcome back. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a mixed note today. The All-Share Price Index gained 11.52 points to close at 5,603.35 and the S&P SL 20 dropped 6.48 points to close at 2,715.66. The turnover was 188.7 million rupees and 8.8 million shares were traded. Next up is Forex rates. Well, that's a wrap of the bulletin for the day, signing off with a promise for tomorrow at the same time with nothing but the latest. Thank you and good night.